Hello and welcome to Focus on Liberia. Ansony Sieh, as always, the hour of politics. We are broadcasting from our headquarters in Atlanta. Here at Focus on Liberia, we educate, we elevate, and promote all things Liberia. Welcome to the broadcast. Hit that share button. The country is at a crossroad. The politicians are here. Some are coming. Some are preparing. They want one thing and one thing only. It's called power. They like it. It's good, they believe, not only for themselves, but it's also good for their family. The race is on. The year is 2023. The candidates are known and they are talking and they are doing everything they can. Some of them are even telling us they have not started yet. My name is Ansony Sieh and I am the host of the Hour of Politics. Here, we try to bring it in a way that no other media platform does it. The topic for today: Vice President Joseph Nyuma Boakai Sr. BBC interview. This is an analysis by me. Stay with me for a couple of minutes as I do my best to bring you an analysis of the former Vice President's recent BBC interview. Hit that share button. Share it with somebody. I want to see Liberians here listening to this analysis, because maybe you have heard others made analysis, but the way we will give it to you here, the way we will be analytical, the way we will be factual, the way we will provide the necessary critique, you will not find it anywhere else. But here's the deal. Until you listen, until you share, how many Liberians going to benefit from this, which promises to be an interesting presentation? Well, let us get started. And so, in his continuous quest to learn the presidency, to become president of Liberia, the former vice president of Liberia, Mr. Joseph Nyuma Boakai Sr., granted the BBC Focus on Africa an interview in which he provided some answers to the questions the BBC had. And I am here to look at those answers, to critique the answers, to analyze the answers. I want to know whether the answers that the vice president provided in his interview helped him or hurt him, politically speaking. And so we will go into it. But let me give you my overall assessment of the VP performance. There is something that the VP did that we have to learn from. You know, for so long, I've been paying attention to surrogates, apologists, and people in the VP's corner, that the VP is a wise man. And so my curiosity has been in that area. Where is this wisdom that they talk about? I have not seen the VP displaying this wisdom. The VP gave me something to learn. Did the VP give us something as a people, especially those of us who love this thing called politics? You know, in politics, communication is key. If you don't know how to communicate in a more effective, profound, and excellent way, in a convincing manner, chances are that you will not succeed, except through other means, except you become a bandwagon, as was in the case of so many senators and representatives who roll on the weird bandwagon and they came to power. That's the only way. But in a competitive process where an individual has to make the case to the electorates to convince them whether they have plans and whether they will be able to provide, those things that the voters want to see. You have to be able to communicate those things in an effective manner. So back to the point I was making, did the VP give us anything that we can learn from as a country? Did the VP share something with every Liberian in that presentation? My answer is yes. Before I go into question and statement by statement, let me share with you something the VP did that I agree with 100%, that I need to learn, that you need to learn. Whether or not you like the VP or not, you need to learn that. And let me break it to you. The VP answers to the questions in terms of length, how long, how short, that's what I mean. In terms of length, the VP was very brief in his answers. He was not all over the place with his answers. Now, what I have observed with all of us Liberians, including myself, we talk so long when somebody asks a question, instead of us giving the shortest answer possible, we don't do that. We go explaining from Genesis to Revelation, because somehow we are kind of, Bible people. I continue to tell some of you I'm not a Bible guy, but that is not what I'm here for. So yes, I agree that this is something to learn from the vice president. The vice president was very brief in providing his answers. He was not talking too many things that he was not being asked. He was not beating around the bush in providing his answers. I know at some point he tried to invade one of the answers that I will bring to you. But when the interviewer, the journalist said, no, I'm asking for your personal opinion, he went straight to it. That is something we all need to learn from Vice President Joseph Boakai. I try to be a critical guy, and my reason is just plain and simple. It's not because I have any beef with anybody. It is because I want Liberia to get the best deal ever that it can get, because Liberia has always been left behind when it comes to giving our people a deal that they will benefit from, government after the other. So this is something the vice president did that you need to learn, that I need to learn personally, especially a guy like me who tried to be in the media space. You're doing presentation, you're talking one thing over and over, repeating yourself. That is something that I have learned, that if you have a presentation to make, if you have a question to answer, go straight to the point. No need to beat around the bush. I think that was profound from the VP, and we all need to learn that. I don't care who you think the VP is. He demonstrated that whenever you are asked a question, you should be as brief as possible. Don't they tell us this thing when you go to an interview? Don't get yourself into too many explanations. Go straight to the point, and then let the person come up with the next question. That way, you can be able to cover as much as possible in a very short period of time. And then when that interview is brief, many people will be able to go to it and start from the beginning to the end to listen or to watch it. But when it is too long, people kind of get like, oh, that is too long, I don't want to waste my time. So that is something that I personally have learned from the vice president, and I hope that you all also will learn from that. But let's do something as before we go into the analysis. Let's listen to the little clip of the VP interview so that you will see what I'm trying to tell you. Listen.
Not an ambition, but it's a desire to serve my people in an area that I see a lot of deficiency.
You call this a desire to serve your people, but in 2017, your people rejected you in favor of George Weah.
Well, let's say it that way, because we accept the will of a democratic society, but I know I wasn't rejected.
Well, you lost the election.
Great, that's how we say it.
So in 2023.
So you're listening to that, right? Yes. That's how it was communicated, if I can paraphrase it. First, he tried to push back that I was not rejected. That's what he said. That was his first answer. And the other thing they asked him, said, well, are you having an ambition here? He said, no, that is not an ambition. It is a desire to serve. Very short answer. I am saying there and laying a little emphasis on it because I myself as an individual, I'm guilty of it. All Liberians, if I'm not mistaken, most Liberians, maybe I should say, are guilty of it. We try to be very long. So to those of us in this media business, those of you who are learning to be politicians, those who want to play active roles in politics, learn this thing from the former Vice President, Joseph Nyuma Boakai. Now, let's go into the entire interview. And I will be providing my analysis on the basis of this question, which is the answers provided by the Vice President. I want to know whether those answers help the Vice President cause or case to be president, or did the answers actually hurt him politically? Were his answers smart enough? Or were his answers not too smart? Did he provide intelligent answers? Were these answers that he provided come by to bite him? Or were the answers taken to the promised land? That is what I will be looking at. And on that basis, let's go into the entire interview. So on the entire delivery, just by putting out his answers, the fact that they were short, I want to say, congratulations, Mr. Vice President. You have taught us something to be brief as possible and give as short answers as possible whenever we are asked in an interview. That we have learned from you. And I want to say to you, congratulations for teaching us that. Folks, I agree with that 100%. Now, let's get started here. Time is fast spent. I want to be brief now. Now, I'm trying to advise myself here to be brief so I don't have to be too long here, folks. So the first question was, Mr. Boakai, did your quest to be president, is it an ambition? What did Mr. Boakai say? Quote, it is not an ambition. It is a desire to serve my people in an area that I see a lot of deficiency. So Vice President Joseph Nyuma Boakai, when he was asked whether or not the idea of him wanting to be president for the second time now, is it an ambition? He said, no, it's not an ambition. It's just my desire to serve. So let me analyze that. Is the Vice President right that this is not an ambition? It's just a desire to serve? I would say yes. This cannot be an ambition. Why is this not an ambition? It is not an ambition because the Vice President, on the day of election or in the election year, according to my calculation, will be at the age of 75. What kind of person, even at age 75, far above the retired age, will be having an ambition? Hey, folks, tell me, and you can disagree with me, and I understand. When you retire, do you have ambition? When you retire, when you have passed the retired age, do you actually have an ambition? Ambition is when you are coming up, or when you are still within the working period of your life and you aspire for something, then that is an ambition. But when you have surpassed or passed the age that, or the time period for you to work to accomplish certain things, then it's no longer an ambition. It is, like he put it, a desire. He just wants to serve. So let's look at this desire to serve. So the vice president now, he have a desire to serve. So this is just about his desire. It is not about what he wants to do for the Liberian people. Are you listening to me, folks? The vice president said, the whole reason I'm running to be president is because it's just a desire to serve. Now, if you look at the word serve, many of you will give a positive connotation or explanation of interpretation that, oh, the man want to serve his people. But look at the word desire. My desire is to just serve my people. The vice president is having a desire at this time to serve. Has he now had so many desires to serve? Has he not? From APMC as a warehouse supervisor, I'm sure maybe that time he had an ambition, so he managed, from what we've been told, that he made it to managing director. Fast forward, at some point he was at LPRC. I think he had ambition, so he was climbing a ladder. At some point, agriculture minister. And at some point, a vice president for 12 years. So the VP is still having the desire to serve in this service that he wants to provide. If God blesses him, he will be providing that service far above the retirement age. So the vice president is easily communicating to us here that, hey, I just want to be president, man. I just want to be president. That is what it is. His desire is to be president. Now, if the vice president have said, look, irrespective of what you may think, my goal here is to tackle the challenges that have engulfed our country in the area of education. We are zero. In the area of health, we are in trouble. These are the issues that I want to tackle, for which I am running to be president of the republic. But the vice president answer was that it's just a desire. He won't serve. He just won't be president, to pull it in a layman term. My desire is to be president, and that's it. Let me progress. Now, on the question of whether or not the vice president was rejected by the Liberian people based on the results of the previous election, the vice president pushed back. He said, I lost the election, but I was not rejected by the people. Hey, folks, let me remind myself something here. I always ask those of you who listen to me to critique me. I love criticism. Some people don't like it. They get mad. I don't know what war they're in. Criticism is not that somebody is killing you. They want you to be better. And anyone who takes the time to criticize you, you should respect that person and not have issue with the person. Somebody communicated with me that when I'm doing my presentation, I'm yelling. That is 100% true. So those of you who love what I do here, if I'm here, you see me yelling, please write a comment. Stop yelling, Ansony. Be cool. So let me stop yelling and make the presentation. The vice president said, I lost the election, but I was not rejected by the people. Is that true? Was the vice president not rejected? So this is a vice president that was pushing back. That, oh, I lost the election, but I was not rejected. Is the vice president telling the truth? The vice president is right. Partially, he's right. He's right in the sense that he was not rejected by the people of Lofa. I agree with him on that part. We are doing an analysis, folks. He is right. The people of Lofa did not reject him. So since the vice president has thought of something, to be as brief and to the point as much as possible, when he said I was not rejected, maybe he should have said, hey, I was not rejected by the people of Lofa. So I agree with him. He was not rejected by the entire country, right? He won about, or he got about 400,000 votes. And also he won Lofa County. That is his own county that he's from. So, I mean, to say that he was not rejected, in some part, he's right. 400,000 people did not reject him, they voted for him. Lofa County did not reject him. Lofa County voted for him. And I agree with him that yes, he lost the election, but he was not rejected. But on the other hand, I disagree with him. He was wrong for saying he was not rejected by the people, in this case now, on a majority level. Our elections are by majority. To win, you must get majority. So because we are in a democracy and they say, oh, democracy is the will of the majority, Mr. Boakai was rejected. And I wish the vice president would have been very honest about that. That yes, I was rejected by the people, but I'm not sure they're going to reject me this time. So to go further, the vice president was wrong to have indicated, because the impression he gave was that majority of the Liberian people did not reject him. That was a lie. He was rejected by the people of Nyuma. He did not win Nyuma. He was rejected by the people of Grand Bassa. He did not win Bassa. He was rejected by the entire Southeast. He did not win Sino. He did not win Grand Cru. He did not win Maryland. He did not win Riverside. He did not win Bapulu. He did not win Kidmount. He did not win Bonnie. He did not win Bon. He only won one county. And in it all, the vice president was rejected by 14 out of 15 counties. So for the vice president to have said, I was not rejected, that was a lie. That was dishonesty on his part. At least he would have qualified it, that I was not rejected by 400,000 people of the electorates. I was not rejected by my county. And the other people who rejected me, I'm sure this time they will be able to accept me. Then the vice president who have demonstrated honesty, because what we have also been told is the vice president is an honest man. That Honorable Joseph Nyuma Boakai Sr. is a very honest man. So I was looking for sincere honesty in his answers that he provided. So I disagree with the vice president respectfully. He was rejected by a majority of the people. He was rejected by the Liberian electorate overwhelmingly, or in their majority. And when we're talking about he just won one county out of 15 after serving as vice president for 12 years, who had a name recognition in every nook and cranny, in every hamlet and village and town and county in our country. For him to have only won one county and that having to be his own county, his rejection was embarrassing and humiliating. So I disagree with him on that note. Let me progress. Quote, the Liberian electors have found out that they made a mistake that needs to be corrected. The vice president provided an answer also. He said, the Liberian people have come to realize that they have made a mistake. And another mistake that they have made, it needs to be corrected. Now, what the vice president did not do in his interview is to provide how the Liberian people will correct that particular mistake. He did not provide that answer. Now, another thing he did not do is how he's going to drive, how he's going to pull the Liberian people on his side, how he's going to help the Liberian people to correct this mistake that, according to him, the Liberian people made. And if you ask him in the question, did the Liberian people actually make a mistake by electing President George Manawia as president of the Republic? It depends who you talk to. Seditionists will tell you no. And it's not all sedition, by the way. There are some seditions that are as hungry, frustrated, disappointed. Have you not heard about this enchanted sedition? We have over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 disenchanted seditions all over the place. I have videos of sedition speaking angrily, disappointingly in this president. So, yes, it depends on who you talk to. Seditions, non-seditions alike, believe that this president, George Manawian, is actually not meeting the needs of the Liberian people, and that what he is doing, what is unfolding in the country, needs to be actually corrected. So let me progress. So some electorates have, but what is he doing to win them over to his side is what the vice president did not do. How often is the vice president speaking about their pains, and is he offering alternatives to the Liberian people? All he said was that they made a mistake that needs to be corrected. How are the Liberian people going to correct that? I'm sure the vice president was thinking that by going to the poll and voting him or voting for him, for the Liberian people to go to the poll to vote for him, that is the correction he's talking about. These Liberian people must be given reasons for going to the poll to make that correction in favor of the vice president. They must be given that option. The one who must give them that option has to be the former vice president. So how is the vice president doing that? Is he communicating with the Liberian people as often as he should? What is your answer? Very sudden does the vice president speak. Now, there's something the vice president said that I have a qualm with, right? Vice president will always say, I don't just talk. I talk when people want to listen. When I talk, people should listen. I mean, are you listening to that? That is the vice president, that he doesn't just talk. He talks because people want to listen. Again, he talks because people want to listen, or when he talks, people should listen. Now, what is he saying then? Vice president is saying that when he talking, the Liberian people won't listen. Liberian people don't listen. That is why he doesn't talk. The VP is saying he talks because people listen. In other words, the only way I can talk to you, except you have proven to me, or you have shown me the willingness, or you are showing the willingness to listen. But in as much as most of you are not willing to listen, why should I be wasting my time to be talking? This is something that even his surrogates will repeat after the other. They will repeat it over and over as though it is anything that is positive. That the vice president doesn't just talk. When the vice president talks, you must listen. Are we living with the vice president yet? The last time I checked, we were the employers of the vice president. The Liberian people are the bosses of the vice president. Are you understanding me? When you are elected by the people, when you are appointed by a president who was elected by the people, indirectly the people have employed you. The Liberian people are your boss. So it's like somebody telling his boss or her boss, "Look, boss, the only way I'll talk to you is you show the willingness to listen. Because the way I see you, you don't listen to people. So that is why I don't talk to you." Wouldn't that be gross insubordination to your boss? This is what the vice president does. And the people who are propagating for him, they go and repeat this thing as though it makes any sense. Look, we the Liberian people, or most Liberian people, love Bible business. I got my friend here called Dennis guy. He's a Bible guy, so I can pick up these Bible things from him. And I heard from him one other time that the Bible said, faith cometh by hearing and hearing the words of God. Are you with me? Faith cometh by hearing and hearing the word of God. So in essence, if this vice president can only continue to sell his messages, to explain his plan, to communicate with the Liberian people that he is on their side, that he understands their pain, and that he can be consistent with that, then the Liberian people will start to put faith in him, because the last time we checked, his defeat was a humiliation. And so for you to think that you were entitled to anything and that you are talking to the people who are your bosses, I don't know whether the vice president understands that the Liberian people that his bosses. I'm not sure the way he talks. I'm sure he understands that, because if he actually understood that, he would never look in the faces of the Liberian people who are his bosses to say, I thought because you are willing to listen. He will not say that. The thing is that if you want something for your boss, if you want promotion, if you want something for your parents, you continue to ask. You continue to serve them. So the vice president should continue to speak to the Liberian people. He should continue to explain his plans. He should continue to address the issues that are hurting the Liberian people in their majority. That is what the vice president needs to do. It's like in the Bible, my understanding that the vice president is a deacon. So the Bible that the church relies on, that the church preaches, says, faith cometh by hearing and hearing and hearing the words of God. So, Mr. Vice President, instead of waiting until the Liberian people communicate with you, oh, Papa, we're ready to listen to you, before you talk, follow what the good book says. Continue to articulate the issue. Continue to make the case. Be consistent with it. Explain your plans. We want to show the Liberian people your plan. Show the Liberian people how you will lead differently. Do that. That is the way you can help. You can ignite in the Liberian people the willingness, the ability for them to be able to correct what you claim was a mistake that they made in the past. But if you lay back and you think they're just going to get up one day and rush to the pool and correct it, it's not going to call it. Because we saw that. I'm sure you were much more laid back at the time. You were waiting for them to listen before you speak. So what happened? You were rejected. Let me progress, folks. Now, on another issue, on the question of the vice president health, the vice president said, and I quote, I am capable, fit, and in good health. Beautiful. Again, the vice president on the question of health, he said, because the general question was, Mr. Vice President, by election time, you will be at age 78. Will you be able to stand or withstand the vigor of the campaign to go to the length and breadth of every county? The Vice President replied and answered the question with a definite answer, brief, which I respect. I am capable, I am fit, I am in good health. I love this Vice President. He gave answers that are brief, concise, and to the point, to the best of his ability. We all should learn that from the Vice President. Folks, hold on here. Management trying to get to me for something. Hold on, bear with me, folks. Let me see here. All right, folks. I got that. So the question the vice president will ask, Mr. Vice President, are you able to stand the vigor of the campaign? Campaign can become vigorous. You have to be moving from one place to another. You have to be moving from one radio station, from one interview to the other, from county to county, giving speeches, meeting people, answering questions, going to schools, going to villages. It is tiring. It is exhausting. It is time consuming. It is strenuous. It requires that you are in excellent health, that you have the health agility to be able to withstand all that is required. As a guy who followed politics, Obama, as young as he was, at some point he has to acknowledge that his star will come and wake him up, Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Senator. That time he was senator when he was running. We have to get on the go. In the next 1 hour, you have an interview. In the next 1 hour, your flight is ready. We have to go to the airport now. Because 2 hours from now, we should be in Maryland. And you should be addressing the crowd at the University of Maryland. And after that, we'll be flying to Arizona to meet the student at the Arizona State University, to talk to the student. Obama acknowledged it was tiring. It was exhausting. So you need to have the vigor. So they generally ask the question, Mr. Vice President, can you withstand the vigor of the campaign? And he did give an excellent, brief, and concise answer. I am capable, fit, and in good health. So let's analyze that answer by the VP. I love my VP. Hey, that's my pop. That's my pop. So let's talk about the answer the Vice President gave. Will that fitness, and let me analyze it with just 3 questions. Will that fitness enable him to withstand the vigor of the campaign? Because he said he's capable. He's fit. He's in good health, right? And so let me ask the Vice President this question, or let me ask us this question. Do you believe the Vice President gave the obvious answer? Is he actually fit to withstand the vigor of the campaign? What do you think? Does the Vice President have the tenacity, health-wise, the vigor, to be able to withstand this campaign that is coming? Because the campaign would be, it would be tough. We have a Weah who played football and strong. He has been going. Can you imagine President Weah is the first president to have gone on a county tour in 5 different phases? No other president has done that in Liberia. He made a county tour in 1 year in 5 phases. Phase 1, he went to certain counties. Phase 2, another counties. Phase 3, another counties. And he was very tactical about it. I think I spoke about this before. He was carrying little projects here and there. He did that. The Vice President, since he got elected, talking about he's saying he's fit to withstand visiting this country. Has he been able to travel the country saying he was rejected by the Liberian people? Now, if we contrast the Vice President vigor, excellent health, and the ability to be able to withstand the vigor of the campaign, Mr. Cummings, to his credit, this is not in any way preaching for Cummings. I have serious and fundamental questions about that guy. But to his credit, he has visited most of the counties to say at least thank you, even though you rejected me, but thank you. Has the Vice President visited the counties or some of the counties to say thank you. Has the vice president toured the counties as a presidential candidate who participated in an election in which he was rejected? Has he gone there? If he has not gone there, what is stopping him? Is it because he knows it's tiring, will require vigor? Or is it because of money? But we're talking health here. So the vice president said he's in good health. The other question I want to ask as I answer this question or provide the analysis is, will that ability that the vice president talked about, or that capability that he talked about, show in him debating the issues? Is the vice president debating the issues? How robust is he in debating the issue? Debating the issue does not necessarily have to mean debating the issue does not necessarily have to mean that you meet somebody and they ask questions, you debate. No, it means that you go there, you explain yourself, you explain your plan, you counter your opponents, and because he knows his opponents, Weir and Cummings. Is the vice president, that capability he's talking about, are we seeing it in him as we speak? Well, whatever your answer is, then that is the juice for the analysis I'm making. The last question I want to ask as I analyze the portion is Mr. Boakai being honest about his health? Somebody might think that I'm going after the old man. This is what I do. I go after people. I critique them, I criticize them. I want honesty. I love this country called Liberia, and I know many of you do. But we all see it differently. And so to the question, folks, was the vice president very honest? Joseph humble, honest Boakai Senior. Was he honest with this answer? That I am in good health. I'm not a doctor. I would never, ever be one. Was the vice president honest that he's in good health? Or was that a political answer? I think that was a political answer, because if the vice president wanted to be very honest about this, I would have loved for the vice president to say, hey, I know I am advanced in age, which poses a challenge to me as a candidate. I know because of my age, because I'm well advanced in age, there may be health challenges that I'm facing, but I can assure the people of Liberia that the level of health that I have is enough to prepare me through the campaign, and I will be able to make the case why the Liberian people should give me the opportunity to serve them. And that this thing should not be more about age, because age is just a number. Was the vice president honest? I think the vice president gave a political answer. Health is a sensitive thing. It's a personal thing. Nobody wants their health matters to be in the public space. But Mr. Vice President, you got yourself in this situation. In the words of the Secretary General of your party, you got yourself in this situation, and I hope you can handle it. And don't be like Mo Ali, who says, hey, don't get me into the situation I can't handle. In public arena, in politics, when you are running to be president, your life is not private. Even your health is not private. And let me speak strictly in your faces, people. Here in the United States, if you run it to be president, the questions concerning your health will be asked. People want to know whether or not you are in excellent health, because the president of the country should not be a sick person. We want and deserve a president that is in good health, so that that person can be capable, fit enough to discharge the duties of the office of the presidency. But because this is health, all I can say, I'm not sure the vice president answer was honest. I think he did give a political answer for political reason. But we all know what it is that made progress. Now let's look at another thing here. The vice president said, and I quote, on the question they generally asks that, hey, Mr. Vice President, President Weah is younger. And, and you think because he is young and he's close to the youth, you think because you didn't do it the first time, and I'm paraphrasing the journalist question, folks, do you think you're going to win him? VP Boakai said, and I quote, Weah may be young, but he is not doing what the people want. Do I agree with the vice president? Yes, I do agree with the vice president to the greater extent. President Weah is young, but he is not doing exactly, in many areas, he is not doing what the Liberian people want. There are so many things Liberians want to see from their president or a president that President Weah is not doing. And so Boakai is a vice president, Joseph Yaman Boakai Sr. is right to the greater extent that President Weah is not doing a lot of things to the satisfaction of the Liberian people. And I agree with the answer to a greater extent. And why? Is George Weah fighting for the Liberian people? Is George Weah fighting corruption? Now, as we speak, the Liberian government, the country Liberia has failed the MCC scorecard. If we have passed, we would have gotten $257 million. Free money. I know, Cole Family said I shouldn't say free because it's not free. America is giving out money because America wants to control us. So it's not free money. America is not too good to say, oh, I just gave you money, take it. They have interest. So I would not say free money because I pay attention to these things, so I should be careful what I say. But again, that was money we're not going to pay. That's money that could do a lot of good for our people. And this is not the first time this government has failed. This is not the second time this government has failed. This is not the third time this government has failed. And we have a president who will not do anything about it. And it might interest you that President Weah last year, when Liberia failed, he had an opportunity to speak on it. Guess what he said? President Weah said that, well, the people, they gave her, like you influence, the people gave her, we studied for the test, and, we studied, we in 5th grade or 9th grade, I'm paraphrasing here, but exactly what I'm trying to explain to him, that's why he said that, oh, you're in 5th grade or 7th grade, and, you studied for the test, then the people went and bring 12th grade test. How do they expect her to pass? Seriously, George Weah. George Weah was even brave and said that, well, since they say we can't pass the test, let them come and teach us and show us the answers so we can pass. George Weah has hired people in his government to do this particular job. These people all have failed. Samuel Twelve should be playing a leading role, given that he's the chief fiscal officer of the country. The central bank governor should be playing a leading role. And we're talking about this scorecard. It deals with many sectors of the country, right? In the area of health, in the area of education, fighting corruption. And we have institutions that he appointed people, but at one point he appointed a Wambo Dike, a fraudster Nigerian guy who he had at LACC, who faked his citizenship from what that was being reported and confirmed by the Senate confirmation hearing. And that is what I'm basing my, saying on here. So, folks, President Weah had that guy there. No wonder why Liberia failed 4 times now. And as we speak, the president has not taken action. If Liberia have passed for the 4 times it failed, by now the Liberian government will have received over $1 billion United States dollars that we would not have to pay back to the Americans. That money would have done so much good for our people if it were not to be stolen anyway, because that is what happens most of the time. And so I agree with Boakai that President Weah is not actually doing a good amount of things for the Liberian people, even though he is young. I agree with that. But what is George Weah doing, my people? George Weah is not even speaking to the people. And I would say, yeah, Mr. Boakai is just like George Weah. Very seldom does he speak to the Liberian people in this critical time. Very sudden. Mr. Mo Ali got himself into a situation he couldn't handle as Secretary General of the Unity Party. Mr. Boakai did not provide leadership. For Mo Ali to step aside to deal with the situation he couldn't handle, he was maintained by the Unity Party under the leadership of Josiah Nyuma Boakai. And he's speaking for the Unity Party. What an irony. I agree with Boakai. Weah is not speaking to the Liberian people, but is he speaking to the Liberian people as he should, as an edited statement, given the what's the word? The precarious predicament that we are in right now as a country. Sorry, I'm trying to go a little bit of satire there. Well, who knows? I'm a crewman anyway. Liberia is in a precarious predicament. To make it simple, we in high water. It's like we're trying to jump from the frying pan, and, to the fire. That is the situation we are engulfed with here, my people. We are not talking. Auditors die. We didn't say anything. 2 former president's sons died. Up to now, we have not heard a thing from the president. And one of talking about William Arrow Talbot III. My understanding is that he was appointed or maintained by this president. So he was appointed by President Weah as Liberia Peace Ambassador. They meant that the president can't say anything. I mean, can't you think about it? People are dying. The president cannot address the nation about this wave of killing that's going on in the country. Boakai, my understanding is that he released a statement or spoke about it, but how many persons heard him anyway? Let me progress. Is Mr. Boakai being... Oh, sorry. I agree with Mr. Boakai. Mr. George Weah is not creating jobs for the Liberian people. That is one of the things he should be doing. Our schools, President Weah did something and gave, free tuition, but the schools are failing. The economy is in shambles. All they're doing is just printing money to pay salaries. That's all they're doing. Instead of doing most of the things that Mr. Weah should be doing, Mr. Weah is having lavish birthday parties. Mr. Weah is dancing music. Mr. Weah is dancing adwa, singing adwa, producing music. So, Mr. Boakai, I agree with you. Weah may be young, but he is not doing most of the things the Liberian people expect of a president to do. Folks, you are watching Focus on Liberia. I'm Ansony Sieh. We are doing an analysis of Vice President Josiah Nyuma Boakai's BBC interview on the Focus on Africa program of the BBC. Now, Mr. Boakai was asked this question. Mr. Boakai, the CPP that you are in is in an internal wrangling. There's a lot of internal wrangling going on. You guys don't agree. It's in chaos. What are you going to do about it? Paraphrasing the question here. Mr. Boakai said, I am good at resolving issues. And that when I go back, we will resolve the issues. I am good at resolving issues. Folks, is Josiah Nyuma Boakai good at resolving issues? Does Josiah Nyuma Boakai have the track record of resolving conflict? If he does, where, when, what conflict? How many Liberians are in the know that Boakai has the ability to resolve conflict? This conflict in the CPP has been going on now for some time. It has not been resolved. They are nowhere near. Meetings being called, coming is not showing up. Boakai's coronation, comments didn't show up. This thing is deepening by the day. Mr. Boakai has been in the CPP. It's not that he's been on the sideline. He knows Yomli. He knows Ure. Mr. Boakai, if you can convince us that you have the ability, you have the track record of resolving issues. He said, I am good. I am good at resolving issues. When I go back, I will resolve the issue. When you go back to Liberia, have you not been around all these months when this infighting has been going on? You had your surrogate out there going all out and raining insults on your colleagues, and vice versa. People on the other side raining insults on the VP, calling the VP names, saying that he has a battery, his battery is dying, and you couldn't call your colleague and say, look, let's stop this thing that is ongoing. You saw that the CPP thing you people created. You people are chopping it into pieces. Joshua is just sitting there laughing. And you are telling us that you have the track record, that you are good at resolving issues. And you want me to believe it? You want the Liberian people to be convinced that you are good at resolving issues, Mr. Boakai? Mr. Boakai, we have long time asked for the World Economic Crime Court. That issue has not been resolved. Mr. Boakai, when you was vice president, Harry Grieve died. Was that issue resolved? Oh, yes, there was a fake report. There was a fake report. Oh, that was the resolution you're talking about, right, Mr. Boakai? Mr. Boakai, when you were vice president, Noka got bankrupt. According to Mo Ali, your Unity Party, Mr. Boakai, was paying one McLean at Noka $30,000 a month. This guy was making $1,000 a day. Whether or not he went to work on a Sunday or Saturday, $1,000 was guaranteed. Liberians were struggling. Was that issue resolved? Mr. Boakai, to some level of honesty you have exhibited, you said that during your administration, people were just doing PowerPoint presentation. You did not resolve that issue, Mr. Boakai. Mr. Boakai, you accused Ellen of packing you for the whole 12 years. Mr. Boakai, you did not resolve that issue. Mr. Boakai, we know that in the Unity Party, there is a big and huge division. That issue has not been resolved by you. The conflict between you and Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, Mr. Boakai, you are good at resolving issues. You have not resolved that issue. Mr. Boakai, you know it. You know. You have not resolved that issue. So when you are telling us that you are good at resolving issues, can you list? I wish you have listed at least 2 issues that you have resolved. And I would have loved for the CPP crisis and chaos and nightmare and fighting who have been part of some of the issues that you are good at resolving, Mr. Boakai. So, folks, are you buying this thing from the former vice president, that he is so good and good at resolving issues? And that when he returns to Liberia, the whole CPP thing will be resolved? Mr. Boakai, if you are good at resolving issues, how is it that Costa is shortcomings, and Costa now, some people in your party have issue with him doing that because that is destroying the CPP. And now you're visiting the United States and he is the chairman of your trip? Seriously? And you think that is helping to resolve the issue in the CPP? Look, it is said that to whom much is given, much is expected. Mr. Boakai has served in so many capacities in our country. Mr. Boakai has so much experience, be in the government arena for 25 years. My Peking John Lobo, let me say Jian brother. My Jian brother John Lobo told me, say, be brother, please say 25 years. I have 42 years. People telling that not true. So for 25 years, Mr. Vice President has been a government arena. And you can't solve this little issue, and it's just tearing you people apart. Let me progress, folks. So on the question, when the journalist asked, he said, look, Mr. Boakai, I heard, I don't know what that journalist was thinking. He said, oh, a certain Alexander Cummings. I don't know what he meant by a certain Alexander Cummings. He said a certain Alexander Benedict Cummings is running also to be the head of the CPP. At some point, Mr. Boakai said, well, he has an ambition and that is okay. And, you know, but the one I want to bring to you is that they asked Mr. Boakai, are you going to step aside to give him a chance to run? Mr. Boakai said, well, quoting him here, it is not going to be a free ride. I like that answer. It is not going to be a free ride. Now, when you say it is not going to be a free ride, that means there's going to be competition. So, Mr. Boakai, this is what we want you to do. So this year is not going to be a free ride. It's going to be a competition. We want to see that primary. We want to see that so-called convention that you people are talking about. According to your framework, you also have something you call convention or primary. I don't know which is which. In your framework, you say primary. But the way you're doing your primary, that's your definition. But the definition of a primary, you're not going to have that. But I'll take your that is your definition of primary, that you select people, they come together, and then they vote to decide who should be your candidate. That's your primary. So I accept that, right? So, folks, he said it is not going to be a free ride. I'm not going to step aside to say, let Cummings go. There's no issue with that. But what I want the vice president to be able to do, saying this is not going to be a free ride, it's going to be a competition between two men. We want to see that primary. We want to see that convention where one man, one vote scenario is exhibited at whatever you call it, primary or convention, so that the candidate can be decided. Now, another thing the vice president said is that they asked him, do you think Mr. Alexander Benedict Cummings can defeat President George Weah? Boakai was definite. He said, no, I don't think Cummings can defeat President Weah. This is a fundamental problem. Mr. Boakai spoke politically, but this is not a good answer when you are in a political union. This is not a good answer when you are in a political union. When you are in a political union, it is not a good answer. So this is why I say that, folks. In the Democratic Party, when Democrat had nearly 16 candidates running in the primary, anytime any of them was asked the question, are you the only one who can defeat Donald Trump? All of them will say, I know that any of us here in this primary can defeat Trump. However, I want to be the one to beat Trump. That's what they will say. None of them ever said that, no, I am the only person. They'll continue to say, or throughout that time they said, any of us is capable of beating Donald John Trump, because they knew they were in the same political institution. They understood the essence of a democratic process. a democratic primary process that was intended to select a candidate to go against Trump. They knew that. And that whoever became the candidate of the Democratic Party, or whoever was going to be selected as the candidate, was going to be the nominee or the candidate of the Democratic Party. And they believed that with that person bearing the party's flag, that person had the ability to defeat Donald Trump, and that's what they did. Boakai is an experienced man. Boakai has been around. Boakai is in a union. He said that in their union, according to their framework, they are equal. And that is the framework he signed, that they are equal. The prudent thing to have said was that I want to be the one to take precedent. We are down. However, I believe that any of us can take precedent. We are down. The essence of the collaboration was to form a single ticket that will go to defeat President Weah. But Mr. Boakai is telling us the essence of the whole collaboration was that he supposed to be the candidate to take Weah down. That is a recipe for chaos. That is a recipe for conflict. That undermines his statement that he is good at resolving issues. That is not a statement that suggests any sense of resolution on the part of the VP. So that was an unfortunate statement. That statement has the ability to hurt the CPP. Let me progress. This is one of the answers that have my hair stretching, folks. They generally ask the question, will Ellen be giving you her blessing? Will Ellen Johnson Sirleaf be giving you her blessing? After he talked about, yes, we have no issues. He said, I don't have issues with her. That's what he said. He did not say we don't have an issue. He said, I don't have issue with her. That was his first answer. The other answer that he provided when the gentleman asked the question on whether or not Ellen would be giving Boakai the blessing or her blessing, Mr. Boakai said, it is a choice she has to make. This answer is not smart. This answer is not politically genius. Mr. Boakai, the last time Ellen Johnson Sirleaf had a choice to make, you were not that choice. That choice was George Weah. And that choice defeated you. The conflict has not been resolved, even though you are good at resolving conflict. You show up at her birthday. You show her at her residence on her birthday. You are telling us that you don't have issue with her. You know she never supported you. You didn't get her blessing. You got defeated. And now you have the opportunity to speak to the former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, your very good friend who and you have been friends for so long, who you served loyally for 12 years. She had a choice to make and you were not that choice. And you know it hurt you. You did not reach to the promised land. And now you are on the road again to the promised land. And you know she is a significant player. You know it will be a plus when you have her on her side. And you are given the opportunity to speak to her directly, to make her to know that you value her. You see her as a great weapon that when you have on your side, politically speaking, things might likely go your way. But just listen to what the vice president had to say. It is a choice that she had to make. That was a bad answer. That was a poor answer. This answer, now, one may argue that the vice president cannot force Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. One may argue the vice president is not desperate. So let Ellen decide. Ellen is a citizen. It's her right to decide who she supports. It's not the vice president's business to decide who Ellen supports. That is to say, you are ignorant what is a profound support that you need. You need this woman. Stop pretending. Stop shooting yourself in the leg. If I was asked that question, I would give a profound answer. I would go to narrate how Ellen has been a partner or is a political heavyweight that anybody would need on their side. So yes, I will be seeking her blessing. I need her blessing. I need her support. Her support will get me to the promised land. She is a valuable asset, politically speaking. Mr. Boakai should have communicated that way. But he left the window open. Ellen is already worried about you. The fact that Ellen Johnson Sirleaf has not been able to endorse you and support you and is not on your side, it speaks a whole lot. And you need to do all you can, Mr. VP, if you want to get this thing. But to say that it is her choice that she has to make, it's more like saying, let her decide. Manions or plus Ellen, or Manions Ellen, I'm going to win it anyway. So let her decide what side she stands on. That is not my business. In politics, you fight for numbers. You fight for heavyweights. You look for people who, when they endorse you, who, when they say vote for this person, thousands of people, hundreds of people will have a change of mind in your favor. You need that. But to say it is a choice she has to make, it is like brushing Ellen aside. Well, let her make her choice. And, let her decide what she wants to do. I mean, that's not my business. Really? Mr. Boakai, that was not a wise answer. This answer, with my political eyes, is going to come and bite you. It will hurt you. It was not a smart answer. It was a bad answer, Mr. Boakai. Let me progress here. So, folks, the final answer the vice president gave was the youth have realized that they have made a mistake, and this 78-year-old man will set the agenda for the future and the prosperity of Liberia. What is Joe doing to win the youth? Folks in cyberspace, do you know what Josiah Boakai is doing to win the youth on his side? Is he just sitting and waiting that the youth will somehow come around because Joshua is messing up? Is he just waiting because the economy is bad, so all will be well? Is he just waiting for the CPP to fall apart? And that when it falls apart, because he has a name recognition, somehow, the youth going to come around. Oh, we love our papa. We're going with our papa because we are singing music. He's not providing jobs. Is that the situation here? Is that how he's going to pave the way or set the agenda for the future and the prosperity of Liberia he's talking about? Sitting by idly, not explaining his plans. The last time we checked, Josiah Boakai came with love Liberia, think Liberia, and build Liberia. What is the track record of him thinking Liberia, loving Liberia, and building Liberia? We know how the schools are. We know how the roads are, even going to his own country, the Lofa County. We know how the agricultural sector is. It is not producing sufficient food for our people. We import everything. They have 12 years. So Mr. Boakai needs to do a lot of work to convince us here. The youth, remember, the youth population can vividly remember the life was not perfect under the early Johnson Sirleaf administration. The Boakai early administration was not rosy. So if Boakai is to show that he will be different from Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, he has to show it by communicating it now. But what I see is not what gonna call it. Folks in cyberspace, I'm Ansony Sieh. I brought you analysis of former Vice President Joseph Nyuma Boakai's BBC interview on BBC's program Focus on Africa. And here I focus on Liberia. We are doing an analysis on the hour of politics. Folks, we'll be taking a short break. When we come back, we'll be taking the comments. But let me do this for you before we take that short break. Here at Focus on Liberia, we are encouraging our viewers, our fans, those who love what we do, despite of our mistakes, especially me, who make a lot of mistakes. You continue to follow us because you don't look at the mistakes. You look at the quality that we give you. No one gives you any quality that we do. You know that, right? But this is why we want you to do. Watch us on YouTube. Go to YouTube and tap Focus on Liberia. Somewhere there it says subscribe. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and watch our show live on YouTube. Even this show right now is on YouTube. Let me see how many person we got watching on our YouTube right now. Give me a minute here. Let me see. We want you to watch us on YouTube. And when you watch us on YouTube, there's something I want you to do as well. Let me see right now how many person we got watching us on YouTube. Maybe that should keep that as a secret. Let me see. Okay, we have 32% watching us live right now on YouTube. All right, that is good. That is impressive. That is impressive. So if you are watching us on YouTube, I want you to get in the habit of watching us on YouTube. It's good. You will like it. Now, when you do, take a screenshot. Now, if you are watching on YouTube, I will encourage you to do it on your flat screen TV, your smart TV, they call it, right? If you have a TV in your home that has internet on it, or that can use internet, that has the capability of accessing the internet. Many people, that's the common TV now. We're in the future, right? The old TV, not anymore. Nearly almost every TV now can be on the internet. So in your home, on your smart TV, go to YouTube, tap Focus on Liberia, and you will see all that live. And when you are watching us on your TV live on YouTube, send us a screenshot of that live broadcast of Focus on Liberia that you are watching on YouTube. Send it to us, and we will recognize you. We have 2 persons who did that, and we're going to recognize them right now. Now, this one came from Dr. Saki Golafale. Some of you that have been following us, Dr. Saki Golafale is an affiliate at Focus on Liberia. He has been hosting our periodic program, Chemistry and Society. He's busy right now. Anytime he's going to come by. Chemistry and Society has been one of the educated programs that we have had here at Focus on Liberia. So, no, this one is from Tevina Co. Sorry, I made a mistake. This one is from Tevina Co. Tevina Co. was watching us on YouTube on her flat screen TV, her smart TV, and she sent us this shot. Tevina Co. want to say thank you. We are Focused on Liberia. Love you for watching us live on YouTube and sending us this screenshot. Keep watching the show on the TV. Folks, this is the new TV. This is the future. So use your TV and watch us live on YouTube. We will appreciate that. So that is Tevina Co. who sent us this shot. This one came from Dr. Saki Golafale. Dr. Saki Golafale, Tevina Co. were watching us on a big screen TV in his home, live on YouTube, and he sent us this particular screenshot. And I'm also told that some of the TV too, the smart TVs, you can also watch on Facebook. So whether you want to do it on Facebook, but I encourage you to do YouTube. YouTube is a little easier You know, you don't have to log in here and there. You know, YouTube is much more better. You will watch it and you will watch it just like you are watching CNN. Hey, this is our CNN, man, folks. This is our CNN. Let's do this. You know, let's be able to interact as a people in a community. All right. Now, that said, we will take a short break. And when we come back, we'll bring in your comments. I know I see 150 comments. Oh, my God. How will I be able to get to all of this? And time is always running away from me. So, let's take that short break. When we come back, we read your comments. I love your comments. And, you know.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jah.
I'm Ansony Sieh on this special edition of the Hour of Politics, and we have been analyzing the interview by former Vice President Joseph Nyuma Boakai Sr. on the BBC, and I have been doing this analysis. We want to say thank you for staying with us throughout the broadcast and also sharing. We will now bring in your comments, and after that, we will take leave of you. Let's hear from Vani Nkiadi. I'm watching from Liberia National Police Headquarters. Vani, thanks so much for watching us. That is Dikpa Tua, the song Resonance. That's the song that we're playing, the JMB song by Soniga Diabo. Adolphus M. Khan, he said, I'm watching. Let's hear from James Tanun. JMB came here to meet Uber drivers. I don't know about that. Let's hear from Nathan Blama. Heron Costa called him dead man walking. Let's hear from Francis C. Wilson, an ardent follower of Focus on Liberia. Francis, we appreciate you for, following us and even contributing to what we do here. I was really overwhelmed by the VP's interview, especially after all the hype. Ansony, are you implying that format is more important than content? Wow. I was just getting started, Francis, when you gave your comment. I hope I was able to give you what you were looking for. Praises Johnson, his answers didn't help him, but they didn't hurt him either. All right, that is a take by that viewer. Or Attic Randall, the interview was terrible. His answers were completely inept, lacking political acumen, or any semblance of strategy. That person. Right. Randa again. Why wasn't Lobo there to give him the answers? Picking Lobo is in trouble. Praise Johnson. He gave good answers that were all lies. Oh wow. Costa taught him better than Lobo did. Let's hear from Momo here. I am so sure comprehension is your problem, and most of your half-educated elements are claiming to be the best analyst. If you are dealing with me, I want to say thank you for dealing with me. Let's hear from Momo again. Mr. Host, you have always been a stooge of the ANC Cummings. We are fully aware of that. That guy is still dealing with me. Keep dealing with me, my dear brother. Frances again, I don't know. She said, no, don't look at his desire. Look at the past survey. That interview was like watching a puncture tire deflate. Oh my goodness. All right. Francis there. Yep. I think I talk about it. You got to look at the record. Not what you say, but what you have been able to do. Was his answers matching his past record or his track record? Let's hear from Aaron Siafa. I think you are disingenuous with your analysis. He said he has the desire to serve his people as president because that's the area he see deficiencies, and I think I spoke to that. Let's hear from somebody new here. Yeah, there are a lot of people, Francis and Momo and Princess, they are all busy. Let's hear from Dennis Flomo, JMB, been liability on the Liberian people for so long. Let go find place. Maybe he meant to say, let him go find place to sit down. Let's hear from John here. Rejection from a psychological point of view is definition as the feelings of shame, sadness, and grief somehow feels one when they are not accepted by others. Now, does JMB fear shame, sadness, and grief from his response? No. So he wasn't rejected. That person is giving excuses and providing some explanation as he person sees fit. But yeah, from my senior brother, His Eminent Anthony V. Kessley, who I love so much, he writes, Ansony, you are lowering the standard of the discourse by discerning so low to semantics rejection and did not elect. You are digging so high in areas where you have no substance. Yeah, no, I don't have substance in everything. You know, I'm not sure I've had any substance either. Your perception of rejection, I know. You will argue that if you have a country of 100,000 voters with 500,000 voting for one person, then that other person is rejected. And by the way, Mr. Kessley served the former vice president as his chief administrator, chief of office staff for 12 solid years. So he has to make a case. But Mr. Kessley and myself, we are good. I'm his Pekin. Let's hear from Bowman. He's an ANC guy. JMB is so wise. George Lobo had to feed him answers to questions. Let's hear from James Tannen. Tannen writes, age has nothing to do with wisdom. King Solomon can relate. I couldn't agree with that more. Where's the guy who was dealing with me? I've been a stooge of comments. The way I can deal with comments, coming people so mad with me. Martin William Brown, wow. Can I tell your grandpa that he's out of senses? You are a complete disgrace to respecting other folks regardless of politics. I don't know if that is for me. We are not taking calls. This analysis is for people to listen and comment. We are not taking calls. Mr. Brown, if that's for me, then thank you for dealing with me. Musa Sanon, I hope you know words from your mouth because you more than Taylor Rabble. I respect. Anyway, let me leave that one. That person did not do it well. Mr. Kesselige, look at him saying, we all know why it is. Why do you guys go so low to the detriment of this vocation? Why do you all know that JMB's doctor does not know? My big brother Kessley is holding me accountable. I love that. Let's hear from Jeremiah here. They are just pushing the puppy. So just in case he wins, they will kill him, claiming heart failure to take power. Well, somebody might think that is truth in that. Let's hear from Gayfloyd Goya. Did Ellen receive $1 billion from the United States because her government ever passed? Why can't you also talk about the passing marks? Your focus on Liberia is to lie and preach hate messages. Yeah? So we're preaching hate messages. Oh my people. You deal with us. Let's hear from Jimmy Eastman and Adam Follower, focus on Liberia. The wrangling going on in the CPP is a perfect time for VP Boakai to display his ability to resolve conflicts and issues he claims to have. But when will you start now? Yep, that is the same question I'm asking. Let's hear from Satama watching us on YouTube. This is an old man who has potentials to help young Liberians and help to develop this backward country. All right. Let's take our YouTube viewer, Flomo here, right? Mr. Sieh. Hey, near Sieh, S-I-E-H, not S-E-I-H. Flomo, get it right next time, okay? Mr. Sieh, you said JMB is old. but you voted for Joe Biden. Why did you vote for Joe Biden? The person say, I vote for Joe Biden. Or Princess Connor, you and ANC men, whether you like it or not, your company will never see elected position in his life because of his too much of desperate for power. Yeah. Comments. Let's hear from George here. Mr. Sieh, those aren't the issues of the former vice president. Mr. Sieh, those aren't the issue the former vice president talking about. When the vice president talks about resolving issue, he talking about conflict, like what going on in the CPP right now. Has he resolved it? Will he resolve it? He made a promise. Promise is not doing. He said he has the, he's good at resolving issue, and this thing been going on for long now. Let's hear from Princess. You will worry yourself on JMB all day, but trust me, he's your next president. So you just be there fooling that short man called Cummings. All right, let's hear from Daniel here. The old man will be like the late child Walker Bronskin. We have some prophets here. They are prophesying. Let's hear from Nathan. The vice president is not good at resolving any problem. He couldn't resolve the division in the United Party diaspora chapter during his last 6 years as vice president. He was always one-sided. That person, right? Let's hear from Samuel Shepard. GMB may have been around in active politics service, but that in no way equates to him being savvy politically. Most of his responses to questions are premature. That person has just nailed the vice president. Let's hear from Brown. That's Noah Brown. I hope I got it right. All of them, so-called politicians and political parties, none of them have a long-term plan or plans for the good of Liberia and its people, and that is sad and a shame of them. All right, and I am ashamed of them. That person meant to write our thing. Let's hear from Alfred Dennis. Mr. Dennis writes, is that Dennis or Denise? Maybe Denise. I've been watching you guys on YouTube and on Facebook. I appreciate your show, and I believe in the future things would improve. Thank you. Let's hear from Eugene Hammer. Former vice president just need to retire and enjoy the rest of his life with his grandkids and great-grandkids. The VP wants to serve. He has a desire to serve. Let's hear from Mr. Jerome Gilman. Boakai said he's the future of Liberia. He's entitled. He does not have to campaign. Let's hear from River says Pro. As a George Weah fanatic, I'm willing to support Mr. Cummings if he is the potential nominee. Consciousnessly, I don't know how you wrote this one. Consciousnessly, is that how you pull it? All right, let me leave that one. I cannot support GMB. It defeats the purpose of change. Wow. River says Pro. My man, you go in Satya or the other warrior, consciousnessly. All right. I thought it's consciousnessly. I don't know. Let me leave it there. I'm not good with words. Mary Hill, GMB will never ever be president for Liberia. Let him go for retirement. Let's hear from Joseph Conto. Conto writes, Mr. Anthony V. Kessley is one of those who gives information in support of Mr. Boakai. For example, he stated on LPR that Mr. Cummings and the ANC against the VPS process, when in fact, Mr. Cummings and the ANC were the ones pushing for the VPS process to settle the electability argument being made against Mr. Cummings and the ANC. When Mr. Cummings and the ANC suggested the VPS, it was rejected by the UP, LP, and ALP, hands down. Okay. Well, folks, we can read it all. We can read it all, and we hope that we were able to read some of your comments. Folks, this is how we will come to the end of this broadcast, in which we brought you analysis of former Vice President Joseph Nyuma Boakai's BBC interview on a BBC program Focus on Africa. And the program was brought to you by Focus on Liberia on our program, The Hour of Politics, that I happen to be the host of. Until we catch you again, let me bring you some exciting shows that are coming up right now here at Focus on Liberia. Please don't go anywhere. Let me show you this show. I almost forgot that. This is very, very significant. Today, Focus on Liberia, our program called FOL Marketplace, Focus on Liberia and Alibaba International present FOL Marketplace. The program comes on every Saturday here at Focus on Liberia at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Do not miss it. Gabriel Carter will be here. Alice Coffey will be here. They're always talking business and economics. Well, another one here, folks. Our program On Point with Jerome Gilman and George Kanatule will be on Sunday. That is tomorrow. It comes on 4 p.m. Eastern Time always, which will be 9 p.m. GMT in Liberia. Their guest, Honorable John J. Wape, Superintendent, Grand Bassa County, Republic of Liberia. They will be talking Bassa politics. Another one, folks, tomorrow, Sunday, at 12 noon Eastern Time, on the Hour of Politics with me, your guy. Woo! This one gonna be juicy. Unity Party USA Canada Youth Congress. Two gentlemen, outstanding members of the Unity Party USA Canada Youth Congress, will be sitting with me. King Soiree is the national chairman for mobilization and recruitment. He will be here. And Tokpa A. Mambia, Secretary General of Unity Party USA and Canada Youth Congress, will be with me. We will be talking politics. Also, Sunday, tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we have a debate, my people. We got a debate. Cummings decision-making and plans. Who are debating? Robert Grady Gagwa Jr. Robert questions Mr. Alexander Benedict Cummings' plans and judgment and decision-making as a politician. Mr. Hassan Fadiga supports Cummings' plans, Cummings' decision-making, and Cummings' judgment. We have a debate. You don't want to miss it. Again, it's tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That is a Sunday night debate. I will be here with my partner, Dennis Baku Kenjuja. You do not want to miss it. Also, we have a debate that is coming up. We have not finalized the time yet, but it will be on Sunday possibly. But what I want to say to you, we have two persons who have agreed to come and Focus on Liberia to debate the issues. George Preston Lobo Jr. He's no stranger to debate. He has the scars to prove it. He will be debating on behalf of JMB. Menipaka Dumwe, he also is an intellectual powerhouse. He will be debating for Team Cummings. Folks, we'll bring you the details as we conclude this particular debate, but these two gentlemen have agreed to give us a debate here at Focus on Liberia, and we want to tell you that do not miss the debate. It will be exciting. Keep watching our Facebook page. We will be able to bring you all the details for this debate. Well, this is all I have for you for today. Until I catch you another time here at Focus on Liberia, my name is Ansony Sieh. Closing with the song, We Are All Liberians. Bye-bye, folks.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our home. Liberian people. Liberia.